Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
This episode is brought to you by Love Hurts. Kiwi Kwan has had quite a career, from childhood roles in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and The Goonies to a recent Academy Award win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But now Ki finally stars as a leading man in the film Love Hurts. Love Hurts is the perfect date night movie with its mix of over-the-top action, comedy, and a ton of heart. Love Hurts, only at theaters February 7th.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
Achtung Millwall podcast supports the Lions Food Hub, dear listeners, and you can do too by getting yourself an Achtung Millwall t-shirt from noonelikes.co.uk, also known as Nolu Clothing. They've got a wonderful Achtung Millwall t-shirt on there for £15. At least £8 of each sale goes to support the Lions Food Hub, which does fantastic work for families in and around the South East 16 area. Show your allegiances on the podcast front, dear listeners, by getting yourself an Achtung Millwall t-shirt, and by doing that, you'll support the wonderful, the brilliant Lions Food Hub. Noonelikes.co.uk, Achtung Millwall t-shirt, £15. Check it out.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Yeah, obviously, I'm delighted. There's still aspects where I can improve on in the game. We're always pushing, striving to be better. The lads in front of me are incredible. Not just from the back four, but from the front. Start front and work our way backwards. It's a pleasure to be part of this group.
Incredible. Coming back from injury as well it's just giving me a good boost, giving the team a good boost as well. I've been buzzing to come back. Watching the last few games, I've been excited, thinking, I'm really hopefully going to flourish in this team, and getting the 2 goals is just a step in the right direction.
I think the next draw for me, I want it to be one where the fans are delighted. We maybe get a big team at home, we can get a great atmosphere going, they can come and enjoy it. So yeah, that'd be ideal if that could happen.
Wow, dear listeners. What a result at Ellen Road yesterday for both the travelling 2,400 Millwall fans and for those of us that managed to get a sight of the game by whatever nefarious methods you were able to. Those 3 voices you just listened to in the immediate aftermath of yesterday's 2-0 FA Cup 4th round win at Leeds United were in turn arguably man of the match Liam Roberts, arguably man of the match Femi Aziz, and manager Alex Neil, a man who's brought a breath of fresh air down, I nearly said Coldblow Lane, I nearly said Zampa Road. It's John Berylson Way, a breath of fresh air down John Berylson Way with his brand of attacking football, because that's what we saw yesterday, dear listeners. Real grit, determination and defensive hard work, but teamed with a desire to get the ball forwards and attack, and it's a revelation. Many of us have been saying this for years. The best form of defence at Millwall, particularly, is attack, and getting bums off seats, putting on a good show for the Lions, both home and away, is the way for the club to progress. And thankfully, Alex Neil has come in by hook or by crook, and maybe we found the manager, maybe we found the style, maybe things are coalescing at the right time for the club to really progress. Certainly we're going to progress in the FA Cup 24-25 season into the 5th round draw, which takes place on Monday, dear listeners, on the One Show of all places. Used to be on Radio 2 at lunchtime, but anyway, now it's done on the One Show. Yesterday's starting 11, just to run through the details of the game for anyone that hasn't caught up. I can't believe there's anyone out there, but This is how we set our shows up, listeners. In goal, Liam Roberts. You've heard from him at the start of today's episode. Really good performance. Really standout. I mean, obviously the penalty save is the moment. But I was looking at my notes, listeners, that I made through the game, and it was regularly making good saves, good blocks, cutting out balls, crosses, and so on. A really strong performance. I think, as Graham, who we'll talk to in a little bit, said to me after the recording went off, that Alex Neil's got a real selection problem, both in goal but also in other parts of the team. That's a nice problem to have. I think Alex Neil has said that himself. But it's going to be a real headache between Lucas Jensen and Liam Roberts, because both look like goalkeepers of equal standing. And take your pick. I think I might pick Liam Roberts based on yesterday's showings. He's done nothing wrong. But yeah, really, really excellent performance yesterday from Roberts. The back line, which has been rock solid, including, of course, the forgotten man, Wes Harding, yesterday, standing in for Tristan Kramer, who was cup-tied. But did a really nice job at right back. Wes Harding, Jake Cooper, Jeff Tanganga, a rock, of course, we're coming to expect that, and Joe Bryan across the back line, a really strong defensive performance against a Leeds side that maybe wasn't their first choice 11, but certainly looked like a pretty strong outfit and were coming at us. And as the cliche has it, Ellen Road is a very difficult place to go to. So to stand up hard against, the kind of Leeds bombardment was a real tribute to the whole back line. Midfield too, Billy Mitchell did really well for me yesterday. He gets a lot of critiquing online, doesn't he, Billy? Unfairly, in my opinion, but he really stepped up to the plate. Saville rested yesterday. Alongside Billy, another candidate for man of the match, dear listeners, our Belgian wonder kid, Casper Denour, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Really nice performance yesterday, and starting to provide that linkage between defence and attack that maybe we've been looking for some while. Certainly was a really strong performance I thought by Casper yesterday. In front of them, a really bright attacking threesome. We've gone from famine to feast, I think. In Femi Aziz, 2-goal Femi Aziz, and hit the crossbar. Nearly a hat-trick. Luke Cundle, really strong player. And new boy Camille Negley, who had a couple of moments. It was probably a difficult start for him in British football, but I thought I saw enough yesterday to say that the boy's got real prospects. Up front, our big Serbian, Iva Mihailo Ivanovic. Now, the game wasn't on live television. I did get to see it after a fashion. And I thought it was a really open game, dear listeners. Both sides really going for it. A few early moments for Leeds. A volley on the 21st minute, well saved by Roberts, I've got noted here. Overall, an even game at the 22-minute mark, but Leeds did seem to be starting to raise the heat a little bit. And thankfully, after a couple more moments, we got ourselves in front with a nice deflected, yes, it did take a wicked deflection, but it was a nice drifty kind of run in from the left into the right by Femi Aziz. And he unloaded a shot which took a nice deflection into the bottom right corner of the net for 1-0. A real standout moment because that relieved some of the pressure, and I think it started to put the seeds of doubt in Leeds' mind that they weren't going to just turn up and Millwall going to roll over, which I think sometimes is what they come to expect at home, particularly. Then a few moments later, Aziz again, a shot from loose Leeds passing. Try saying that when you're drunk. Loose Leeds passing. Hit the crossbar. Shot from just outside the penalty area. Hit the crossbar. Rebounded down. Cundle followed up, and unlike the chance he had the other week, he headed just wide from a difficult moment. Really, probably would have expected to have got it because I think he sets himself a high bar. Put it wide. After that, another decent save, a magnificent block I've got noted on 36 minutes from a Leeds break. And we were starting to come a little bit under the cosh a little bit as the half closed out. I thought they were knocking hard at the Millwall door, Leeds, as the half wore along, now behind. But we were, defence stood tall. The pressure was much relieved with a second goal just after the break, 55 minutes. Aziz on a marauding run down the left side. Was it deflected again? Or did he get a touch to it on the defender? Don't know. Didn't really see enough of it on my fuzzy, betting site laden screen that I was watching it on. But one thing I did see was it went hard into the net for 2-0. And then probably the turning point of the match after that. 2-0 still felt slightly flimsy and felt very flimsy in the moment that the referee awarded a fairly soft penalty against us on 58 minutes. But a brilliant downward save after one of those awful hesitant up runs that players do now, try and feint the goalkeeper. And I love it when those kinds of flash penalties go wrong. And Liam Roberts got down low to his left and blocked it onto the post, actually. Brilliant save. And that really was a turning point. I think if that had gone in, it might have been a difficult storyline for us overall, because Leeds were looking to raise the heat on us. Otherwise, after that, a few moments, a couple of saves I've noted here from Roberts, but largely speaking, from there onwards, we closed the game out and closed it out really well. Some judicious substitutions from Alex Neil, which I think has been another bright point of his short reign so far. The fact that we're making substitutions and crucially changing tactics at certain points in the game. Big step forwards for us as a club, in my opinion. And the game finished 2-0. Really, really strong Millwall performance. And just to mention the fantastic travelling Millwall support that really came over well on stream. So well done to every single Lions fan that went up to Leeds yesterday, one of whom included my next guest on the show regular, Graham Payne. I spoke to Graham earlier on this morning. Let's have a listen now to my conversation with Graham from today.
Achtung, Millwall.
Joining us on the show now, show regular and one of the magnificent 2,400, I think it was, that went up to Ellen Road yesterday. It's Graham Payne. Well done for yesterday, Graham.
Cheers, Nick. Good morning, mate. Yeah, it's great day. Great day.
Terrific performance. Where to start? I was just trying to make some notes, listeners, before I spoke to Graham. A few pointers. I mean, take your pick of a few players for man of the match there. But for me, I settled on Liam Roberts in goal, Graham. I mean, that was a magnificent showing across the whole game. And, of course, the penalty save that probably won the game for us in truth.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think when he gave the penalty, and I've seen it back, and it was never a penalty. He just fell over.
Soft.
Yeah. And I think I said if this goes in, we're going to get bombarded for, I don't know if it was 25 minutes, and it was the next.
It was shortly after we scored second goal. So 58 minutes. So we had half hour to go nearly.
There was another save just afterwards. They got a free kick right on the edge of the box, and it was a similar save, right low down to his left, and he pushed it away again.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
I don't know, mate. I've never known a position where we've had two quality goalkeepers ever. I don't think. Maybe Horn and Brannigan, but I think these two are probably better than them. But he's got a difficult decision to make now, because every time, I know he's only played a couple of games, but I'm seriously impressed with him. Seriously impressed. He's not put a foot wrong for me.
No, and it feels a bit hypercritical, because you're right. Lucas Jensen has not done much wrong this season. He's been part of a defence that's become known across the division as being really, really tight. So, it's a hard world, though, football, Graham, isn't it? And, one of the quotes that I think I said on the other show was that Alex Neil is picking on merit. Well, Liam Roberts can't do much more than what he did yesterday. And if that's the merit-based system, he's got to be a shoo-in for the next game, I would think. But I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. But he commands his defence really well. That's what struck me. I think that if I was being hypercritical, Graham, of Lucas, and it is hypercritical, he sometimes flaps a little bit, and the defence don't look 100% convinced that he's going to come for crosses. But I can't say that about Roberts. I thought he did really, really well across what did feel a bit like bombardment at times. I mean, Leeds sour grapes types that they are. Saying that was a second string 11. It looked like a pretty decent 11. If that's their second string, they didn't quite connect, but they looked dangerous every time they came forwards, and magnificent defending, magnificent goalkeeping kept them at bay up until the first goal, I thought. How did you see it inside the stadium?
Yeah, exactly that, Nick. And I just want to have a little special mention, because, he's been frozen out. But Wes Harding to come in to that game yesterday, play right back.
Yeah.
I thought he was excellent.
Yeah.
And that's off to him. He's not had a look for a long while.
I can't understand that, because I watched a player yesterday in a playing out of position, Graham. You said it right. He's been frozen out. for whatever reason, I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know, but you know, looking at a player that's gave 100% yes in a very, very, you know, Ellen Road away, a big crowd there, a hyper situation, and he's really stepped up to the plate. I don't know what he's done. Good
No,
knows
no.
what he's said, what he's done.
Well, obviously,
But he's not even featured.
no.
Not even in the squad half the time. I don't know. I don't get that. One of the things, I mean, just going off on a side tangent a little bit, Graham. I don't know how you feel, but I'm quite pleased that the kind of era of the Neil Harris era was magnificent in some ways, but it did seem to feature some very odd personal feuds or choices almost, and Harding is a good example of that because I can't imagine why you wouldn't have a player of his experience, his clear standing. I mean, the other players clearly like him. You know, he's slotted straight into defence there. And there's, you know, obviously there's the whole kind of soap opera with Steve Gallen, but it's quite nice to get past that and for a manager that's coming with no baggage and is picking, as he said, we just said, on merit. I think it's quite refreshing to got past that now, mate.
Definitely, mate. And I'll tell you what is really refreshing, the way we're knocking the ball about. It's great to see. You know, no more lumping it up. It's played on the floor. And now we've got some pace in the team as well. It's a different ball game now, you know, and it's so great to see.
And players that can handle that style of football. I mean, that maybe they always could. They just weren't given the instructions, I suppose. But you know, I mean, that front three, well, the attacking three, Aziz, Kundal, and Negley. Quite-ish start for Negley, I thought. He showed little moments, but it's obviously first game, new country, etc., etc. But Aziz, what a revelation that boy is. And he's one of the make weight signings of the season, in a sense. He wasn't a profile signing. Come to us from Reading. And yet now, you know, so terrific to see him back in the side and two excellently taken goals. The first one got a bit of a wicked deflection, didn't it? But still, you still got to be in the position. Nice run and cut in and shot for the deflection has gone in there at 1-0. Really, I mean, another man than a match performance if you want. If you don't want Liam Roberts, how about Femi Aziz as a 2-goal, you know, contribution for a great away win. I thought it was a terrific performance.
Nearly got a hat trick, didn't he? With that one that hit the bar in the first half as well. You know, I thought.
Yeah.
You know, I thought at the time it was Ivanovic who missed the follow up header, but it was Kundal.
Yeah, it was a similar chance to the one they had the other week, wasn't it? The kind of rebound and the header, you know, just couldn't get that one on target. But yeah, got 1-0 deflected shot. Then we hit the crossbar, tremendous shot from distance. That could have been his hat trick, which is some comeback from injury. No signs of having been out injured for any length of time. I suppose he was substituted in the second half, wasn't he? But 67 minutes, so maybe that's a nod to the fact he's not played for a while. But I just thought it was a tremendous performance. Casper Denor, if you don't like Liam Roberts as a man of the match, listeners, and you don't fancy Femi Aziz with his 2 goals, how about Casper Denor, Graham? What a player! What a performance! That missing link between the defensive end of the field to the forward line, really standout one I thought yesterday.
I was going to say him, Nick, as well as like Aziz and Roberts. He was superb, and this style of football is definitely suiting him because he is
absolutely.
He's linked, man. Yeah. You know, he's winning the ball and landing. He put the ball through. I'm sure he put the ball through for Aziz's second goal. He certainly won the ball, and then maybe Kundal put it through. Someone put it through too. But he's been excellent the last few games. You know, really is good.
Yeah.
And you know,
no, but a terrific performance. I want to mention Billy Mitchell.
Yeah,
Graham. I mean, he's come back into the side. He gets because he's a Millwall fan. He gets a bit of extra helpings online, doesn't he? You know, backwards Billy and all this kind of thing. I thought he stood out again yesterday. I mean, to step straight into a team that's pulled off a result at a place like Leeds, you know, he's a crucial part of that midfield, and I thought he did really well yesterday, Billy.
He did. I know Saville was rested. I don't think he even travelled, but I don't think you could say he was missed. Really, to be honest, I think, you know, as you said, I don't think anyone at the 1 to 11 or, you know, had a bad game. Everyone was on it yesterday. Joe Bryant.
Yeah.
You know, he said
Joe Bryant. Yeah.
the transformation in him in the last 4 games is, you know.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that because I you can't read too much. We're outsiders looking into what I've described as a soap opera. But I mean, sometimes it must depress you as a player that if you're going into work every day and there's a feud going on, it gives you the hump after a while, Graham. It's only so long you can take part in somebody else's issues. In life. Let alone a results-based business like football. And something's lifted the weight off of Joe Bryan's shoulders, and the obvious thing is the new management, because there just seems to be a freedom to play football now, within certain, parameters, of course. But the quality of the players we've signed in. I mean, I know I said that Negley had a quiet game, but you could see that he does have touch and pace, and I think he's going to be a real asset for us. Kundal, I every time I see him, I just like the look of him. He's creative and wants to get involved. Ivanovic, I think he's coming on strong as the kind of holding the ball up and that side of it. He didn't have much joy yesterday, but I think he's really coming along a bundle. Same thing for Ivanovic. Show players a bit of love, Graham, and they seem to respond. It's a revelation at Millwall, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to Joe Bryant, I think I read an article where he said he sat down and had a meet, a one-to-one with Alex Neil, and he was totally refreshed by what he was saying. So maybe that's why he suddenly, clicked into gear. But with Ivanovic, the only one, I mean, he was Langstaff. He wasn't even on the bench again. But I would love to see. I don't know how long away. They say he's back in training. If we can get Coburn back as the swap for Ivanovic, because I did.
Yeah.
When he goes off, we've got no real presence up front. I mean, Watmore was up there and trying his best, but yeah, if you could get Coburn coming on for Ivanovic, that's a different ball game,
Yeah, no, there's no obvious replacement. Watmore came in for his running, didn't he? I mean, the fact that he'll make himself a nuisance. I don't think he's in it for any kind of finishing role, particularly. I'm not saying he's bad, but he's there for the running. Same with Honeyman when he came in. I actually thought, I mean, Wintle and Honeyman coming in, it's kind of said that we're shutting up shop to see out the game, 73 minutes. But I do think the substitutions, another thing maybe, that they're done at the right moment in the right way for the game situation. We started pressing higher on Leeds. They really didn't look comfortable, especially as the second half wore along. And I think that's a bit of a masterclass of football management. It's nice to have a proper football manager in my opinion.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm saying that I'm slighting Neil Harris. I don't mean to, but it's the small, subtle changes to approach and substitutions in game situations. That's where that's where the top end of the management realm is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that, again, I'm not, as you say, slighting Neil Harris, but you can more or less set your clock when you know he's going to make. You knew when he was going to make the substitutions. Normally around the 60-minute mark, where there'd be the same thing. But Alex Neil seems to, as you say, it's in game. He'll look at the situation, and he brought, as you say, Wintle and Honeyman on to tie the game up. Then it was done 2-0. Let's see it out, and that was good to see.
So fantastic, excellent win. Into the fifth round draw. That's good. On the one show apparently on Monday night, listeners. I'm looking forward to seeing who we get. But yeah, I mean, a terrific win. A big shout out to the travelling 2,400, Graham. They really came across on the very dodgy stream. Big thank you to everyone that messaged me on X. I did get to see a stream, some really interesting camera work on some of the other pop-up sites that popped up, listeners, and invitations to bet on the Malaysian Basketball League Division 2 as well. Take a position on that crucial competition. But yeah, big thank you. I managed to get a stream yesterday, so meant I could speak with some degree of knowledge with Graham today. But the travelling support really came across well, Graham. I mean, that sounded like a really fantastic turnout yesterday, including yourself, of course.
Yeah, it was. I think we took our full allocation because I think we only get the top tier there. They don't let us have the bottom tier, a bit like when they come to us, I think. But it was full in there, and the atmosphere from the word go was great, And then obviously, to get the win, and it was even better, Their thing was we're concentrating on the league now, and all this, but it was still, beating Leeds any
Yeah, that's right.
great, isn't it?
I've read that. I mean, obviously, you get all these snarky replies to. I think the club post put out the goals, and you get all this. We're enjoying mid-table, and we're concentrating on the league. We've got bigger fish to fry. Even the commentary that I was listening to, which I think was ESPN Plus, via all sorts of places to my laptop, but they were saying Leeds have got bigger fish to fry. The commentary was obsessed, absolutely obsessed, Graham, with a lively Leeds city centre after the game. That's all they mentioned it about 2 or 3 times. And what's this all about, really? Everyone was kind of dribbling with a thought that there might be some issues up there, but I don't know. A magnificent win. And who do you fancy in the 5th round, Graham? who would pique your interest, mate?
Because I've got a couple of mates who support Chelsea. I wanted Chelsea, but they've gone out. So I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'd like an home game, I think. Full house at the Den.
Yeah, I'd like a home game. Yeah, someone like Manchester United at home.
Yeah,
that would be. Yeah, or City even. That would be a laugh. But we'll see. We'll probably get Preston away or something. But there we are.
Stoke or Preston away.
The classic Stoke in the 5th round. Oh dear. Well, huge thank you for coming on the show so early, Graham.
No problem.
Really appreciate your time. Well done for going. Well done everyone. The travels yesterday really came over well on the stream, and we're going to be back after these messages with some voicemail. Stay tuned, dear listeners.
In a way, it ends where it begins.
Very insightful.
Thank you for sharing this Red Baron with us, Linda. It's so tasty, it makes me want to share something of my own. I didn't actually read the book.
Me neither.
I watched the movie last night.
I judged it by its cover.
I haven't read a book since middle school.
I'm secretly seeing 2 other book clubs.
And I can't even read.
I'm not really Gary. He just paid me to be here. Sharing Red Baron pizza can lead to more sharing.
The wrongs we must right. The fights we must win. The future we must secure together for our nation. This is what's in front of us. This determines what's next for all of us. We are Marines. We were made for this.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello?
Morning, Nick. It's Hassan here. Just thought I'd leave some thoughts and comments about yesterday's fantastic victory against Leeds in the FA Cup. Always good to get a result up at Ellen Road. It's good to shut them up a little bit, arrogant bastards they are. They seem to think they missed the big bollocks. But the performance was fantastic yesterday. You could say it was a second string side, just to rub it in a little bit into Leeds. I know they made changes, but we exactly didn't have our main players. Kramer was missing, Connolly. I suppose you can include Saville as a main starter. He wasn't there. There was 1 or 2 others. Obviously, Roberts was in goal, but the players that came in, Alex Hill, he must have such a selection headache now. I mentioned Liam Roberts. I mean, what a goalkeeper, honestly. I can't remember the last time we had 2 goalkeepers of such a high standard. I keep racking my brain. The last few years, he always relied on the main goalkeeper. We had Bart for a very long time, and we knew that no one else was going to get in front of him. You can go back before that, David Ford. Do you know what? Dare I say, I reckon the last time we had 2 goalkeepers of real high quality was probably Denzel and Willie Gure. To be honest with you, as far as I can go back. But yeah, fantastic performance from Roberts, possibly man of the match as well. Dinor, I'm a massive fan of Dinor. I think he's such a classy player, and yesterday he absolutely bossed that midfield. Absolutely bossed it. He mugged their player for the second goal, got stuck in, and when you know what, he's got the best of both, because he gets stuck in, he likes to tackle, he breaks up play well, but when he gets the ball, he's very smooth and silky with a pass. It's always weighted, and he picks a pass well. He's so lucky to play like him, honestly. Fantastic performance. defence, rock solid. Joe Bryan, I'll be honest with you, I think only one time he got caught out, but to be fair, it was a very good ball over the top from Leeds, and their lad should have done better with it. But otherwise, solid, getting stuck in. He's looking more confident on the ball as well. Tanganga and Cooper, solid as usual. Wes Harding, mate, I'll take my hat off to him. Hasn't kicked the ball for God knows how long, and slotted in at right back like he's been doing it all season. Again, I can see why maybe we didn't go out and buy a right back in January. Obviously, Alex Neil probably said to us again, listen, we don't really need a right back. We've got Kramer, who's filling in quite well, and now we've got Wes Harding as an option. So, I take my hat off to Harding. He doesn't seem to moan. I still can't believe he's in his 20s, mate, honestly. But, he just got on with it. I know a lot of Jamaican people, and they're chilled. They're very chilled. And he's certainly like that as well. He just gets on with it when he has to. So I take my hat off to him. Camille Negley. Now, I watched the game. I watched it from about half an hour in all the way to the end. And from what I saw of Negley, I think we've got a right tidy player on our hands there. He did some of the little things that he did with the ball, his movement. You can sense that there's a player in there. I can see why the board, Steve Gannon and his staff signed him. There's definitely, he's got something about him. I think he could be a real talent for us. He looks very tricky. He's very weighted with the ball, the way he moves and shifts his body. That looks like a very good acquisition, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. Kundal, solid again. Never a penalty that he gave away. We get that every week at the Den. Someone getting shoved over in the box or barely touched and never get a penalty. Referee bottled it. He was at the cop end of Leeds or Ellen Road, and he absolutely shit himself. He was awful yesterday. The ref he missed a Stonewall red card on Denor when the guy put the studs on him. If that was that way around, 100% red card. But that was never a penalty. Otherwise, Kundal, solid game. Again, like he's so cultured on the ball. He turns very well, picks a pass, and it's a breath of fresh air to have. I think we've replaced Fleming now. That was always the question. But I think we've replaced him, maybe more so. I think he does a little bit more than what Fleming does. He gets around a bit more. But otherwise, solid. Femi Aziz, come on, man, the man at the moment, really. 2 great goals. All right, little deflection here and there, but otherwise, absolutely fantastic for him. And I've got to be honest here, I was starting to say to myself, with all these new signings coming in, is he even going to get back in the sides? So I thought, with Negley coming in, we've got Bangura Williams, we've got Triple B from Brighton. Still got Watmore knocking around. I suppose you've got to include him. I was thinking to myself, is he even going to fit in this side? But I'll tell you what, he certainly staked his claim as a start of all these new players. Great for him. I remember when he first came into the club, I gave him a lot of stick. I left a couple of games on the way, awful. But I tell you what, he's probably now a sure starter. He calls Leeds no end of problem all day. And I'm happy that he got the 2 goals as well. Could have got a hat-trick. Cannoned off the crossbar. But overall, I'm happy for him. Ivanovic, he put himself about, made himself busy. I think he's starting to get used to that lone striker role now. And I'm happy to see that he's the main striker now. There's nothing about it. I'm sure Alex Neil said that to him. I mean, he's got competition behind him. I think you can include Zach Lovelace maybe as competition, along with maybe Langstaff. But Ivanovic again, he done a good job. So overall, fantastic result. 2 out of 2 against dirty Leeds. Always good to beat them fucking mugs. And on to the next round. Who do we want? I don't know. I'd like to get a big away game. I'll say that much, just to tick it off the list. I don't know, like United away, Newcastle maybe. St James's Park, never been. Not to put that off the list. Otherwise, we'll take anyone at home. But onwards and upwards, on to Plymouth. Take care, mate.
Fabulous stuff from Hassan. Yeah, I've never been to St James's Park, Hassan. I've never been to I haven't been to the new Manchester City ground either, so that would be an interesting trip. Obviously Old Trafford. Been there, listeners. Been there. Really interesting call there from Hassan. Yeah, the whole delusional part of Leeds fans is an interesting thing in itself, isn't it? I mean, clearly they're a big club, got big support, but they do tend to have a kind of an Arsenal quality of that, by God's gift that they are, entitled to glory and honours that don't always get matched on the field. I think for some reason we, as a club, seem to get under their skin quite a lot, which is a fine thing. Obviously, that's the Millwall way, isn't it? Goalkeeping duos. I mean, Graham mentioned this earlier on, Hassan. I was thinking back to Denzel and Willie Guerre, as you've mentioned, and before that, as Graham mentioned, the only other twosome that I can ever think of where we've had two great goalkeepers at the same time would be Brian Hall and Keith Brannigan. Otherwise, it's been star goalkeepers with maybe Aidan Davison. Was he understudy to Casey Keller? Older listeners, long while ago now, back in the early 1990s, so a long time ago. But yeah, it's a rarity where you've got two strong keepers and a really tough choice for Alex Neil to have to make in terms of who to go to Plymouth with. I seriously think that Liam Roberts could not do any more than what he did for us yesterday. Strong goalkeeping performance across the whole game and a penalty save to effectively keep us in the game. I think if that penalty had gone in, soft penalty though it was, we might have found it a lot harder in the second half as Leeds turned the heat up. Wes Harding, let's mention him. We've mentioned him already, but I want to mention again what a great servant to the club by his attitude and the fact he's come into a team from scratch pretty much, filling in, knowing he's filling in for Tristan Kramer, and done such a great job despite the backroom soap opera that must have bedeviled his time here at the club. So hats off to Wes Harding. Big thank you there to Hassan. Let's take you along now to Aussie Dave out there in Perth, Western Australia.
Nick, Aussie Dave, after that wonderful FA Cup win against Leeds. My review, I'm just going to go through each player and give a little pen picture. Roberts in goal, 9 out of 10. You always feel more confident with him than Jensen, and you almost thought he will save the penalty when he did. Harden at right back, 8.5 out of 10. It makes you wonder why he's not been in the squad and playing, because he's playing like some of us thought he could do. Cooper and Tanganga, 8.5, 9 out of 10 for those two. Probably 8.5 because I've given Roberts 9. They were solid as ever and didn't really put a foot wrong. Bryant on left back, well, this is about 4 or 5 games in a row, 8.5 out of 10. Midfield, Casper Denore, 9 out of 10. You look at the stats I saw on Twitter, they're unbelievable. He does more intercepts than tackles than anyone else in the championship. And he played really well today. Great play. Mitchell, 7.5 out of 10 was solid and beginning to show some green shoots. I thought before today looked a bit rusty. Then we come on to the front three across the top. We got Negley. Doesn't he look assured on the ball? I'd give him 7.5, 8 out of 10 maybe for Negley. He looked really comfortable and he can only get better. Kundal, I'm going to give him a 7.5. I thought it's okay, but he missed that header, didn't he, when Aziz hit the bar and it should have gone in. But he was solid. Aziz, 9 out of 10. Wow. I don't know what's going to happen with Bangura Williams because Aziz. Can he be dropped for the next game? And finally, Ivanovic, 7.5 out of 10. Really didn't have it put around, but he wasn't given any chances. Didn't fluff anything, so solid. And finally, the coach, Alex Neil, 9.5 out of 10. The last few games, you watched the way we're playing. We're much more attacking. Obviously, he's got the better players to do with. And importantly, brought on the subs at the right time. What a win, Man United away. Come on, you Lions.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, Alex Neil. I think he is proving to be a real revelation. It's one of those hard things. I actually am a fan of Neil Harris, listeners. I won't make any bones about it in terms of him being a a massive figure in club history, both as a player, then as a manager. It's easy to sound like you're kind of putting him down slightly, which I don't. I think he made huge strides and achievements for our club, saving us from relegation. We've mentioned that loads of times. I think it's one of the great achievements of his time, but in recent Millwall history as well. So, I don't mean to sound like I'm slighting him. I said this to Graham earlier on, but it does come as a real refreshing break for us to see an experienced championship level manager in Alex Neil who makes changes in game and adjusts the team tactics, the personnel to suit in game situations. And I think that's what's really standing out for me at the moment, dear listeners. Plus the refreshing attacking play. I mean, I think I'm not alone in saying this. A lot of people have been saying this, but if you can supply good quality attacking football at the Den, particularly, then you're going to get, returns. I think obviously it required investment. We've had the windfall, if you want to put it that way, of Romain Esse moving on for £14 million total, plus Zian, £7 million total. So it's given the recruitment team a chance to invest in some decent players. I mean, they've been mentioned already. Negley, Hassan mentioned Negley and Kundal and BBB, Triple B. We haven't seen him yet. The competition for places is going to be intense. I've never known a situation at Millwall, listeners, where we've had such good quality players in depth fighting for the limited number of spaces that a starting 11 allows. Can't think of that at all. It's a real revelation. We're playing fast, flowing football. A little bit on the back foot at times yesterday because Leeds were coming at us. And, but then we break so well, break with pace, power and intent. It is very, very, it's wonderful to see it. I'm going to take a short break now. I'm going to give a little bit of Bobby T to take us to the adverts. And then we'll be back with Jamie Mack, Jim Hackett and Lawrence Binney after the messages.
Nika, Achtung millwall, Bobby T, live on the rooftops from Harrods. Jimmy Savile, Leeds scum, nil, Millwall 2, take a bow from fucking Ellen Road, mate. Boys, well done. Mickey Podcast, Nick Hunt, Achtung millwall, all the boys who went up there. Femi Aziz, take a fucking bow, mate. You were injured, you come back, smash and grab. Well done, boys, on the road there, mate. Liam Roberts, don't get me started, mate. I think he's our number one. What are you guys saying? He's our fucking number one, Liam Roberts, mate. What a result today in the 5th round for the FA Cup. Chelsea at home, I fucking won. I didn't go, but I heard it was lively. Well done, Millwall boys. Aziz, take a bow. Great team. Leeds, you, Jimmy Savile, fucking hell. It's falling apart, Leeds. Bobby T, Millwall in the 5th round for the FA Cup. Fucking love it. Meh.
Achtung, Millwall.
Morning, Nick. Jim Hackett here after yesterday's fantastic 2-0 victory over dirty Leeds. What a fantastic game for us. I thought early on we'd come out the block so bright and we didn't sort of go backwards after that. And I thought for the first 20 minutes we looked on top. I think they sort of got a foothold into the game, Leeds, and tried to make it difficult for us. But they might have a lot of quality in their squad, but they couldn't break us down. And the couple of times they did manage to get a shot off or get the ball out wide and into the box, I thought Roberts did his bit, as did the defenders. And as the first half was going on, I could see a draw, funny enough, at the end of the day, and see where it went from there. But once Aziz picked that ball up, and that all came back from Brian, I think it was, who actually made the challenge that released the ball to get to Aziz, and he went in and he took his chance with a shot, and fantastic, it went in the net. And I think everybody at that point thought, something could be on them, because the Leeds didn't really damage us too often, and with the best will in the world, they couldn't compete when it comes to the second balls. We were winning everything, and you've got to give credit to all the players from there. They started out well, and then obviously that they sort of got back in the game when we were 1-0 up. I think that was more about our players letting them have the ball in certain areas and not worrying too much about it. And I think the game changed again when when the lad put that tackling on Casper, it seemed to sort of galvanise everybody again. And when we got the ball, I thought we looked really comfortable, decent. We didn't fanny around with it. We didn't sort of do lots of tippy-tappy football. We actually used it really well. And I was really happy yesterday to see Jake Cooper, when he did get the opportunity to pass, he passed it and he passed it well. He didn't just knock it long or knock it into areas, where we might get the ball. He actually got the ball to players and built from the back. And on the back of that, you then got Casper, who I thought was like a whirling dervish yesterday. Everywhere the ball was, Casper was close to it and putting in challenges, putting in big tackles. And when he did get the ball, he just looked quality. And I thought it was probably his best game for us since we've had him. But, it's not just him. I think second half, they came, and again, it was the closing down that helped us. They did have opportunities in terms of getting the ball wide, putting the ball in the side, but all the time we either got a block. We had a fantastic goalkeeper yesterday, Roberts, who didn't put a foot wrong. The penalty that was never a penalty got it just desserts, and again, just a fingertip save onto the post, I think it was, and Cooper clears it. But from that moment on, I think, we did get our second goal, and that was mainly down to Casper, who I think when he put that challenge in, there was a little bit of justice there, because it was a lad who knocked him that he caught, and he caught him in possession, put the ball to Aziz. And, Femi Aziz, considering he's been out for such a long time, he just went on and on and on, and exactly the same, just put it into the net. I think he got deflection, but it didn't matter. Then come the penalty, and then I think we saw the game out quite comfortably. And, the likes of Ryan Wintle came on, and everybody who did come on did their bit. Duncan Watmore. You find it very difficult to be critical of any Millwall player yesterday. And if we'd have got to half time 1-0 up, and they'd have come back in the second half and done us over for however they'd have done it, then I'd have still been quite okay yesterday with the team that he put out and the performance. So for me, he's now got that great issue of who does he put in, who does he leave out, and then he's obviously got to worry about how he keeps them happy. But if you go through yesterday's team, I thought obviously Liam Roberts, very difficult to leave him out, isn't it, after something like that, because he didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't look dodgy. He didn't look stressed out by anything. And you could just see how much it meant to him at the end. He was absolutely buzzing. So fantastic for him. And the other player, I've got to say, who I thought had a storming game, and you can see he's been very harshly treated, was Wes Harding. He played excellently yesterday. He did everything he had to do in terms of defending, and he was still there. And he must have took a leaf out of Kramer's book, because he was pushing forward and pushing, but he got caught offside at one point through pushing too far forward. So for him to play like that, I think it just gives more and more problems to Alex Neil, but they're great problems to have, aren't they? The back four throughout, I think Tanganga and Kuba are looking better and better, and they couldn't get broken down yesterday. Obviously, the time will come where somebody does beat us, but at the moment, the way they're playing, and Joe Bryan as well as a back four, we're as strong as we can be. And when you think of who's not in there, we've still got players to come in if players don't perform. So for me, that they were great. And then Casper and Billy in the middle. Well, Billy, it took him a little time to get going, but then you could see him getting sort of more and more confident. And some of his passing I thought was excellent. Some of it was a little bit stressed, but his time will come. I think he just needed a game just to give himself some confidence. And Casper was, for me, he was our best player on the day, because he just got everywhere and got the whole team ticking through him. And our wide players, Femi and the new lad Negley, what a breath of fresh air he looks, and you can see him going on to better things, can't you? With us, he looked comfortable on the ball. He likes taking it past players. He likes to use it easily, and he's got something about himself that I think will really appeal to the Millwall team or Millwall supporters. And then on the other side, Femi Aziz did everything he's supposed to do. So absolutely fantastic. And then Luke Cundall, who I thought was not anonymous yesterday, but everything he does is so simple. And because of that, you don't take a great deal of notice of him. I thought the one bit I did notice about him was when he missed that header after Aziz hit the bar from his shot. And I mean, Luke Cundall, the week before, put it away. This week, he just missed the target. But that would have been a lovely way to get 2 goals and off and running. So for me, that's possibly where he could have done a bit better, but it's a bit churlish when we've won the game. And then Mihailo, I think up front, he's showing so much confidence now that he's sort of penned into that slot. I think unless something happens, Coburn might come in, at some point, but I think it's Ivanovic's to lose now, that position. And as a group, I thought we were fantastic yesterday. The support sounded absolutely magnificent on the TV, and all I can say is congratulations to everybody that went up there, enjoyed the day. I think to watch it, it was a day to be proud of what we saw. It was a comfortable performance where we got our just desserts, and I couldn't see anything that was going to frighten us now for the rest of the season. We'll lose one or two, obviously, but you know what? I think we've got a real chance of just pushing forward and see where we end up. So on we go. Come on, you Lions.
Hello, Nick. Where do we even start with our performance? Jamie from Australia here. Absolutely magnificent from start to finish. Completely controlled it, bossed it. I looked at it myself and I thought he's going to make huge changes, and if we don't make any changes, they're going to be lambs to the slaughter, and that was the case. Epitomised really by Denoy in midfield, who absolutely sort of bossed it, snapping at their heels. They weren't kind of used to it. They're still trying to play that formation. None of them were used to it, what they were trying to do. Mitchell played well as well. A few loose balls, but still getting match fit. A couple of good raking runs forward and passes out to the right wing. New winger looks good. Defensively, it doesn't seem like he likes doing that at the moment. Some lovely touches, a really nice eye and needle pass to the centre between two Leeds players. And I think he'll become really good the more he develops. Aziz, obviously, man the match contender, along with the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, what a fantastic performance. Almost like we haven't had a good goalkeeper in ages, and suddenly we get two at once. Real strong argument about you could have for either at the moment. And I'm a big fan of Jensen, but he had a really strong performance today, including the penalty save. Ivanovic up front didn't really do too much. A few nice touches, a couple of skillful sort of finishes. It was a nice header he put in, and coming with age, when he learns about his positioning a bit more and where he should be to actually put that header in, he had the execution in, he just didn't have the positioning. So again, once he gets those, he's going to be a 20-25 goal striker, mark my words. Joe Bryant was excellent at the back. Tanganga was like a rock. Cooper was pretty good unless someone was running at him. Did struggle with some of the faster, trickier runners. Wes Harding, he would say it wasn't his best game, but he was obviously playing out of position as our fourth choice right back. But full credit to him as a man that's out of contract in this summer and will not get renewed a contract. He gave it his all until he was cramped on the floor, and then he got up and still gave it some more. So well done to him. But overall, fantastic performance by the Lions. Deserved to be back in the Cup. Alex Neil was performing absolute miracles to that side, playing football, which I didn't think they were capable of doing. And we still haven't seen most of the new boys. So come on, you Lions. I've got one bit I wanted to add, and that's the inclusion of George Honeyman. George Honeyman was like a pest buzzing around that pitch. They brought him on. Neil realised that the right-hand side was an issue and we was getting quite raked down that side. And Honeyman was just sort of all over the park, kicking people, running into the corner flags and doing those little dark art things, which we used to Savile doing, but he was just sort of ran around the pitch and sort of settled the game down. I was watching it in the end, not even worried they were going to score. And it was good to see that big smile on Honeyman's face that just says, yeah, we got this, boys.
Right, Nick, it's Lawrence Binney here calling in after Leeds United 0, Mill 2. So, pick your perspective. We've either gone up to the biggest club in English football, or so half of West Yorkshire would have you believe. Beaten the league leaders handily, and capped off a really fine 2 weeks where we've won 4 and drawn 1. Or have we gone up to the top side in the league who rested pretty much their entire first team and kind of looked like they couldn't be asked with the hassle of a 5th round tie because they are chasing promotion. I would like to not deflate the bubble. I think it was a superb performance. I'm very impressed with the balance of the side. It's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. We are going to lose games. We're going to have games where we are disappointing. But the squad, the side, the team, especially that attack, has balance now. We have options on either side. We have a bit of creativity in the middle with Kundal, and some support for Ivanovic, finally. That is the makings of a top half side. And I see no reason why we can't finish in the top half. I think anything beyond that is, I think, a bit hopeful, to be honest. But yeah, I think we should tamper expectations a little bit. This is still a bit of a patchworky sort of squad. There are lots of players here who I think won't be here in a 6 months' time, 6 months to a year's time. I am looking at the likes of Watmore, Honeyman, Saville, even though his performances have picked up in the past few weeks. These are players that we need to progress on from if we're going to be serious about the top six. But yeah, very encouraging signs. I just think we should leave it maybe a few more weeks until we start getting excited. A couple of bad results could see us right back down there again. And while I've been very encouraged by the business we've done, we still don't know if half these players will be any good. So yeah, let's just enjoy the ride. It's so I've missed the FA Cup. I can't believe I can't believe we've neglected it for so long. We've got such a great tradition, especially in the past few decades. A final, semi-final, quarter-final, and these are the ties that, these are the moments that everyone remembers. Do you know what I mean? Like the last-minute winner against Everton a few years ago, Cahill up at Old Trafford. Yeah, I mean it's the magic of the cup, to use a cliche, and we should never neglect it, especially in a season where it looks like it's petering out into nothingness. Thankfully, after a brief flirtation with relegation. Yeah, onwards and upwards onto Plymouth away on Tuesday. Very winnable game. Well, let's see what happens. All right. Cheers, Nick.
Big thank you to Lawrence. Before Lawrence, Jim Hackett and Jamie Mack out there in Oz. The magic of the FA Cup. That's a good point you're making there, Lawrence. It was a competition that was kind of going down the road of the Carling Cup, wasn't it? Or the Caribou Cup, I should call it. Milk Cup, Little Ones Cup, little loved, the kind of runt of the litter. And the FA Cup lives in danger of that, I think. And even this season, we've done away with replays and played to a finish after extra time, shootouts as a one-off game. Myself, I'm enjoying the cup run. I think it's one of those things that if you're concentrating on the league, such as Leeds maybe, and others in our division, then it probably is a slight irritant. The FA Cup comes in as a slight irritant. Maybe that's where we've thought of ourselves in recent years. That sounds a bit highfalutin, that we've been trying to work towards the playoff spots. I think this season no one really thinks that that's a tangible target. It might be a long shot, but I don't think anyone should be planning to get their tickets early for the Wembley Stadium. It's an outsider chance. So this year we can indulge ourselves in the joy of a little cup run. Fifth round is a pretty good point to reach. Let's see who we get on in the draw. It'd be nice to get someone with a name and some glamour. We'll probably get Preston away or something like that. But the actual cup run itself, I think, it's in Millwall's blood. And you're right, Lawrence. These are the games that you remember forever. Cup finals and Everton and Leicester and so on. These are the big games that you think back to. Just want to go back to a couple of points. Jamie mentions George Honeyman coming into the game yesterday as a substitute and doing his dark arts. That struck me, Jamie. There was a moment towards the end of the game where Honeyman ran it into the corner to kill time and did a fantastic job of falling over and scuffing the ball around in that corner so Leeds couldn't get the ball back. I think we won a corner at one point. just to kill time. That's an actual art form. It's really difficult. And I thought George Honeyman coming into the game, he's been a bit of a whipping boy, like there's been a few others in the dip in form that we've had of late. But he brings George Honeyman, and there's not always to start. You wouldn't maybe necessarily start him. You certainly wouldn't want to put him in any kind of creative role, but he does his level best, gives you 100%. And yesterday, I just thought he came in and did a real job for us. One other point before we move along, Jim Hackett mentioned Jake Cooper's passing. That was struck me. I've called him Cooper Cruyff now. I'm calling everyone Johan Cruyff, Jim. But yeah, some of the balls, crossfield balls that Jake's been playing, he went through a little phase of that a few years ago, didn't he? Do you remember when he started to get forwards, made little runs down the wing? He was given license to attack. I think there's more to the boy's game than you might imagine from a 6'5" central defender. He's always going to look ungainly when he gets forward. But some of the passing he's brought out of late, I think, has been pretty good. So hats off to Jake Cooper. Big thank you to the chaps there. I'm going to take you to the advertising break now for Bobby T Sandwich, either side of the adverts. And we'll have Matt Richards, Nick Howe and Rob Woodford. Stay tuned.
Nick Hart, Wobbit here from Howard. One more thing I've got to end it on. Marching on together. You dirty Leeds cunts. Millwall. Bye for now.
Achtung, Millwall.
Nick Hart, Bobby T here, calm down. I had a little quick sneaky tea break at Harrods. And I want to end it, or I want to give you my analysis, right? Liam Roberts, man of the match, seen the penalty save. It wasn't even a fucking penalty. That fucking Notto, right? Little midget, little fucking weed cunt, fucking dive. Blatant dive. Anyway, he saved it. And Liam Roberts, right, for me, is my number one. Nothing against the incident, but Liam Roberts went on the podcast a couple of years ago, Under the Cosh, and he went through like mental health and all that. So for me, Liam Roberts, right, where he's been at his life to come from rule number 2, but I think he's older than the incident, but I don't really give a fuck, mate. What a performance. So, diving cunt, Leeds, you little jammy, dirty little cunt. All Leeds commented, oh, Leeds have played, oh, fuck off, mate. I'm signing off now, Bobby T. Achtung Millwall podcast. Millwall, make me happy once again. Great weekend. And a long weekend. Bye for now, Bobby T. Love ya.
Nick, Matt Richards, what impressive performance. That was great stuff. We really took the game to them, didn't we? I know they made loads of changes, but Harding, it's his first game this season. Negley, it's his first game in British football. Aziz back from injury. You got Billy Mitch in there. Roberts at the back, in goal. So, that was a really impressive performance. And we played some good football, lots of short, fast passing, good movement, showing attacking intent. Just what we just want to see. And we're playing away, to Leeds United. So, yeah, it was great to see. And it's, it's getting exciting now, the FA Cup. We're now into the 5th round, so let's see. Hopefully we get a nice, tasty draw. But I'm just more thinking about, Alex Neil and the style of football he's playing and what that's going to mean for the future. Because I'm trying not to get excited, but I'm probably sounding a bit excited. Just the fact that these players are going to get better. They're going to get to know each other better. They'll get more experience. So it's looking really, really positive, and I'm really pleased for Alex Neil because he had a slow start, but we're building up confidence now, building up momentum, and that's looking really good. Where is it going to take us? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but just going to enjoy it while we can. When you think about what a season we've had so far, to be in this position now is fantastic. So well done to all the fans that are out there today. Well done to the players, and well done to Alex Neil and his team. Come on, you Lions!
Hello, Nick. This is Nick over in Newcastle, Australia. Just wanted to comment on our brilliant Millwall were yesterday. What an unbelievable performance to go up to Ellen Road for a very informed Leeds. Despite their changes, they're still a strong side and just win so comfortably. I think the stats showed that they had 8 shots on target, but it was only really 2 decent chances that they had. And just how brilliant Roberts was yesterday. Absolute stone brick wall. Incredible. Key players, I'd like to give Harding a shout first and foremost. For someone that sat on the bench and couldn't get a look in, it definitely wasn't in Harris's plans. Warm the bench all season, and to come in what is quite a big game against very informed Leeds and looked so comfortable yesterday, put a real shift in yesterday. Back four's always solid. It's such a pleasure to be watching the Millwall side where you're really, really confident and comfortable with the back four. They're just so good. Tanganga, as always, just so elegant on the ball. Almost makes it look effortless. Nothing getting past him. Makes Cooper, obviously, such a better player for playing alongside him. Shout out to Joe Bryan as well. I know he's had his critics this season, but he put an unbelievable shift in yesterday too. Looks such a better player in this Alex Neil new system. Maybe we're seeing the better version of him that we always hoped we'd see. Long may it continue. Casper De Norre, arguably man of the match yesterday. Didn't put a foot wrong. Unbelievable amount of tackles won. I think I saw a stat that said he won 100% of the tackles he went in for. Something like 87% pass completion. It was just unbelievable yesterday. Shout out to Billy Mitchell as well. Another incredible performance from him. Love seeing Billy put a performance in. Unbelievable. But my key player is Kundal. Wasn't quite man of the match yesterday, but there's something about that kid. 2 games in, and I think a lot of our turnaround in the past 2 games is down to what he brings us. I think prior to him coming on board, there was such a gap between Saville and De Norre in the middle, linking up to Ivanovic up the top, which was prompting wing-backs to just boot long balls, or Cooper shooting up long balls to Ivanovic, hoping that he could bring them down, which I don't think he's quite got that to his game quite yet. He's better with the ball at his feet. Kundal just seems to be that little piece that we've just slotted in that 10 role, and he just links up everything. Even from the first whistle blown, he's so busy. You watch him, he's just absolutely incredible. Just does not stop. The motor on the kid is incredible. Really composed, really smart footballer as well. Links everything. Makes Casper De Norre and Billy Mitchell in the middle's job so much easier, knowing that they can lay it off to someone like him, who can then just either flick it out to Aziz, Ivanovic or Negley. Talking to Negley, he's got something about him, hasn't he? Obviously only his debut, but didn't seem to shrink under that pressure at all. Debut up at Ellen Road, FA Cup 4th round. He had some lovely touches on him yesterday. I think we're going to see quite a player out of him. Really exciting. Aziz, incredible. Come straight back from injury and just looked like he hadn't been away at all. Should have had an hat-trick. That shot that hit the post, crossbar, you name it. He had the keeper all sorts of beat there. Shame that he didn't quite get the hat-trick, but incredible. Love seeing him back. He looks like he'll flourish in this system of Neil's. I think we'll see the better version of him now. Ivanovic didn't have a whole lot of chances, but loved seeing him trying to get in off the last defender's shoulder and Kundal trying to link him through. Again, he's turning into a really, really tasty little player. Really exciting. I don't want to keep waffling on. I've been on here quite a while already, but really exciting, and I was absolutely buzzing after that result. Woke up this morning still absolutely buzzing. Who do we want in the next round, Nick? I'd love to get City at home at the moment. I think they're doable, you know. I don't know if you saw Orient giving them a bit of a scare for the first half yesterday, but I'll take City at home. Come on, you Lions.
Buzzing after that result, Nick. Well, 5 weeks in the job for Alex Neil, and what a turnaround. I think the gaffer has more confidence in his players than we do at times. It's interesting the way he likes his right back to get forward and his left back to stay at home, whoever plays in those positions. You know, a big shout out for Wes Harding and for Liam Roberts. And wasn't it good to see Femi back? Camel, is that his name? Camel Negley, he shows composure, but I think he needs time, obviously, to adjust to this level, methinks. And towards the end of the game, you know, Watmore and Honeyman made it scrappy when it was needed. But my man of the match was Casper De Noor. By a long shot today. He was absolutely awesome holding down the midfield. And we can look forward to a cup draw on Monday night. Who said they didn't care about the FA Cup? Our new gaffer clearly does. And what a brilliant interview he gave after the game on the club site's Millwall TV. Winning becomes a habit, as George Graham once said, and a cup run will help. How about one of the Manchester clubs at the Den in the next round? Yes, please. And then we can concentrate on keeping this run going on Wednesday. Come on, you Lions. Keep it on the island wall.
Fantastic stuff, Rob. Before him, Nick in Australia, and then Matt Richards before Nick. There's a general theme here, listeners, isn't there? I mean, the good football. Matt said what good football we're playing. And I think that's the most refreshing thing of all. I mean, all I ask out of Millwall Football Club listeners is that I go there fortnightly or whatever the rhythm of the home games becomes over these strange seasons we play in now. But whenever you go there, you want to see 100% given attacking football, and you want to leave the Den feeling that nothing was left behind. Was I ever really interested in a defensive kind of lesson on how to dull my senses into oblivion, but yet somehow get a point on a 0-0 draw? No. You want to leave the Den having reverberations of, you know, the action, win, lose or draw, because that's the other side of the coin when you play bright, open, attacking football. And I think a few of our contributors have said this. I'll say it now. You run a risk of conceding. If you concede goals, you run a strong risk that you might get beat. That's the way it goes. That's the cookie crumbling, listeners. But personally, I want to go to the Den and be both entertained. Yeah, of course, I want to see wins, and you want to see the majority of your games won because I want to stay in this division. But fundamentally, I want to be entertained and left buzzing as I walk away back along the Ilderton Road, dear listeners. So a huge thank you to the boys there. I've got the final 3 messages for this show, dear listeners. We're going to play you Glyn Horner, Adam Wicks, and then a message from Bill Slack, which I haven't listened to yet, Bill. I haven't yet to listen to your message, but I did love the text message, the WhatsApp message that came with it, which is, I hope you can make head or tail of it. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for their contributions to this Leeds away game, every show for that matter. I want to say a big thank you to you too, dear listener, for tuning in. Your tuning into this show helps do some good with the Lions Food Hub. The more advertising money we make out of the show, the more we give away to the Lions Food Hub. So you can feel good about yourself, not only about Millwall's form at the moment, our little cup run that we got going, but you're also doing a good thing just by listening to all of the boys on the show and myself waffling away on Millwall matters. So give yourself a pat on the back whilst you're at it. So here we go then. Glyn Horner, Adam Wicks and Bill Slack. Thank you for listening, dear listeners. Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Hey Nick, Glyn here. I didn't go to the game today, so I had to just listen to it on BBC coverage, which was where I live. It was BBC Radio Leeds, which was extremely biased. That's without going into too much detail, because I didn't see the game, I've only seen the highlights. I've got to say, I think there's a real argument here to be discussing the goalkeeping position. I mean, Roberts clearly has now played 2 or 3 games and looked absolutely comfortable at this level. In fact, very good at this level. And I think I would love to be a fly on the wall in those discussions where the management team are talking about Lucas Jensen. I'll let these cars go by. And about why he's being selected over Roberts, because I think Jensen is a good goalkeeper, and I do like him, and I think he's got potential, but I think he is still developing. And maybe that's the argument. Maybe they're just saying, well, this guy is the investment, and ultimately he's probably more sellable going forwards. But I don't know, Liam Roberts looks like a top quality goalkeeper, and he looks very assured and a very safe pair of hands. I don't feel nervous when he's in goal, and that speaks volumes. Really glad to see Wes Harding got another shot as well. I've never understood the criticism he got. I'm not saying he's a world beater or anything, but I do think he's not as bad as a lot of people are retrospectively making out. He was up against some very good attackers today, and by all accounts held his own, and I think he's could be doing the job for us with injuries that we're getting. He's definitely not a better centre-back than Tanganga. He might be a better centre-back than Cooper when he's having a bad day. But I think Wes Harding is potentially valuable to us as a squad player. And then I think the only other thing to say is welcome back Femi Aziz. I mean, talk about giving a player time on the pitch and letting a young player develop their game. Of course, you can't allow a player to last too long to do that, because the team needs production and needs results. But Femi Aziz is living proof, as is Ivanovic, that some of these young lads, if you give them time, they will develop and they will learn quickly. So, long may it continue. Looking forward to seeing the rest of them. Really nice to see Daniel Kelly get on the pitch as well. Certainly like to see more of him and learn a little bit more about what he's capable of. But one way or the other, really good result, and looking forward to the next game. This is a really golden period for us, and I'm getting quite excited by it. Come on, you Lions.
Morning, Nick. Just Adam Wicks here, just leaving my thoughts after yesterday's outstanding 2-0 win at Ellen Road. I think for me, we're sort of back to where we were. The sort of peak of the season was that beating Leeds, beating Burnley sort of period where we were really sort of digging in and doing well. And we've sort of, in the sort of way our season does tend to go up and down and is a bit of a roller coaster, we're now sort of at the top of one of the good moments, aren't we? So long may it continue, and I think let's enjoy these exuberant young players as much as we can, because they really are a joy to watch. I think the difference between then and now, however, is that we were back when we beat Leeds and Burnley, that sort of time earlier in the season. We were very, very tough to break down, and we were very adept at nicking goals, causing teams the odd problem, and then just sort of sitting in and just low blocking, and grinding it out from there, which, we all appreciate the work ethic in that, and it's wonderful. But now we seem to have got back to that, but playing slightly more expansive, and we seem to have a hell of a threat on the counter-attack as sort of seen yesterday. I mean, there were times yesterday where we were pressing Leeds so high up the pitch, not all the time, just at the right moments, and it was fantastic to see. I really that's what we should be all about, and I can't, I'm really pleased with how Alex Neil's getting on. I'm really pleased with the signings we've made. I'm delighted for Aziz yesterday getting 2 goals. We seem to have 2 first-choice goalkeepers, which is unheard of for us. A really solid back four. I mean, Wes Harding coming out of nowhere. I mean, I've not been his biggest fan over his time with us, but he was fantastic yesterday.
we've got players to come back into this as well. I thought, just Denor was absolutely sensational yesterday. He was everywhere, and he is one hell of a player. And then I think allied to him, you've now got, Aziz, Connolly, Kundal, Ivanovic, Negley, Bangura Williams, Amaku still to come back. I mean, throw Watmore into that mix as well. Langstaff, Coburn still to come back as well. I mean, we have got some serious options, and it's just for everybody, just enjoy the remainder of the season. I think it's going to be really good fun. Alex Neil seems to be doing a tremendous job. I don't know really what else there is to say. He's gonna have a headache, but obviously it's nice to be able to, we've got 2 games a week. How many times have we said the players look tired? They look like they've done too many games. We rested Saville yesterday. Crammer wasn't playing. Obviously, Connolly wasn't available. Neither were some of the other new players. And we can absorb this stuff. So I think it just bodes very, very, very well. And potentially, I know we love to get overexcited, and we love to get more despondent than we should do. But to be fair, I'm quite happy to get overexcited in the minute, and it looks, this group has got the potential to be potentially, I think, one of the better sides we've seen for probably about 20 years by my reckoning. And if that don't get bums on seats and things going, then I don't know what will. But anyway, very much looking forward to Plymouth now. Come on, you Lions.
That's it! Leeds United 0, Millwall 2! Come on, you Lions!
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.